Hey, what's going on, guys? With the upcoming release of the live-action version of the Walt Disney beloved film, I thought we could journey back to 1967 and nosedive right into the pop culture sensation that was The Jungle Book. On this week's Movie Spotlight, we will be looking at the history and the legacy of The Jungle Book.
You have just made a serious mistake, my friend. A very stupid...
No, Carl, I was...
mistake. Look me in the eye when I'm speaking to you.
Please, Carl.
Both eyes, if you please.
So The Jungle Book is a 1967 Walt Disney animated film that is loosely based on Rudyard Kipling's book of the same name. It's Walt Disney's 19th animated feature and is part of the animated classic series of films. The plot revolves around a feral Indian boy named Mowgli who is raised by wolves. After the threat of Shere Khan, the predatory tiger intent on killing Mowgli, Bagheera the panther and Baloo the bear embark on an epic quest to return Mowgli back to the man village where he will be safe from the threat of evil. The film that came right before The Jungle Book, The Sword and the Stone, was not only a critical success at the box office, but it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Score. However, the critics actually slammed the film for it being too comedic, whimsical, with a very thin plot, and it didn't really sit well with Walt Disney at the time. Disney vowed to go back and make a universally well-regarded film and decided to adapt Kipling's book. However, The Jungle Book is an extremely dark tale on humanity, so a lot of the material was actually thrown out and changed to be kid-friendly. The Sherman Brothers wrote all the songs for the film that would harken back to Mary Poppins, Sleeping Beauty, and also Snow White. However, tragedy struck on the making of The Jungle Book as Walt Disney died during production. The animators were hell-bent on making this film as perfect as it could be to honor the memory of what Walt Disney actually wanted for this type of movie. And the end result shows that this is one of the greatest Disney animated films of all time. The Jungle Book was universally praised by audiences and critics and was a box office smash in 1967. The fun nature of Baloo the bear and King Louie the orangutan stuck closely with children, creating memorable tunes that were fun to sing along to. The Bare Necessities was nominated for Best Original Song, but it actually lost to Talk to the Animals from the Dr. Dolittle film. Film actor Gregory Peck, who was the president of the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences, lobbied extensively to get this film to be nominated for Best Picture, but the Academy members at the time thought the film was a joke, and they failed to do so. After this incident, Gregory Peck actually stepped down as being the president, as he didn't want to be a part of an academy that didn't believe in the art of animated features. So it actually took 20 years for an animated film to be recognized for Best Picture, and it was the Walt Disney classic Beauty and the Beast. The Jungle Book is filled with fun trivia and insight into the making of this beloved masterpiece. For instance, Winifred the elephant is the only female voice talent in the film, not counting the Indian girl who is singing by the water. The vultures were originally intended to be voiced by the Beatles, and the animators designed the vultures specifically to look like each band member. However, John Lennon vetoed the project in outrage, and the negotiations actually fell through. However, the voices of the vultures sound closely to Ringo Starr and George Harrison as a Beatles homage. The voice of King Louie was originally intended for Louis Armstrong, but Disney instead went with another famous jazz singer, Louis Prima, who was modeled after King Louie as he sung I Want to Be Like You. The character of Shere Khan was drawn to look like British actor George Sanders, who also voiced the character perfectly for this film. And Disney voice talent legends Sebastian Cabot and Phil Harris voiced Baloo and Bagheera respectively. Elements of The Jungle Book were recycled in the later Disney feature Robin Hood due to that film's limited budget and the character of Baloo was the inspiration for Little John, who was once again voiced by Phil Harris. The dance sequence between Baloo and King Louie was rotoscoped for Lady Cluck's dance sequence in Robin Hood. Many characters from the 1990s animated television show Tailspin are characters actually seen in The Jungle Book. A direct-to-video sequel to The Jungle Book came out in 1998 with very little success and praise. The success of The Jungle Book inspired a live-action version more closely based on Kipling's book, and the film, although it was packed with action and suspense, it never connected with audiences, and even though it was a Disney picture, it lacked the heart and the emotion of the animated film. Then in 2014, Disney decided to take a new approach with their animated classic stories. They decided to reboot all of them, but making them live action, utilizing today's computer-generated technology. In 2014, we received the first reboot of Sleeping Beauty, titled Maleficent, which shows the Sleeping Beauty story from the side of the villain. The movie was very poorly received by critics, but it was a commercial success at the box office, and Angelina Jolie's portrayal of the villain was praised by everyone. A year later, in 2015, we received Cinderella, which was directed by award-winning actor Kenneth Branagh, to both audience and critical acclaim. Cinderella followed closely to the Disney source material, and it was a magical experience that showed how these Disney animated movies could be very successful in live-action form. And opening this week in April of 2016, we are getting The Jungle Book, which is supposed to be a faithful adaptation of the animated Disney classic. Early critic screenings are praising the film and are calling it the best live-action Disney remake and one of the best Disney films of the last 10 years. Directed by Iron Man's Jon Favreau, The Jungle Book is a film that is doing things so technologically advanced that people have never seen in a film before. The entire film was shot in a warehouse using the most advanced photorealistic rendering, computer-animated imagery, and motion capture technologies that haven't been used in a film before. Remote jungle locations in India were later photographed and used as a reference in the post-production for the film. The only physical actor in the film is Neil Sethi, who plays Mowgli. All the other actors provided the voices for their characters in post-production. The animals in the jungle setting looks mind-boggling and extremely realistic, and it's hard to believe that everything in the film was all created by just a simple computer. The Jungle Book, according to most critics, doesn't quite live up to the legacy of the animated film, but the movie stands on its own as being a very faithful adaptation while incorporating and expanding the world that Kipling created. The film is tracking to be a mega success, and it shows that audiences over 40 years later can't seem to get enough of the bare necessities. Anyway, that's it for this week's movie spotlight of the legacy of The Jungle Book. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to The Jungle Book. You should be too if you like the animated feature. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button over here. Also subscribe to this channel and check out our website, filmschoolhooligans.com, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.
You better believe it. Now let's go once more. Now I want you to keep circling or I'm gonna knock your roof in again. You better keep moving. Ooh. Hey, right on the button.